So we've got oil prices heading for their first weekly gain since the month of October. The market's beginning to digest the latest OPEC Plus and IEA's forecast for this year as well as into 2024. 300,000 barrels per day was what OPEC was forecasting. But you've got a bigger picture from the International Energy Agency. Those reports for the final month this year are out on the street, and that's helping the numbers a bit. But you've got a bit of a retracing that you see in those pairs in the basket, just about a 0.75% for the London Brent and the US West Texas Intermediate. Nat gas up by 3.09%, but gasoline down by 20 basis points. And just give you a sense of where the market on commodities were. So it's been 18 months since a group of some 145 candidates were put together virtually across the continent by the African Development Bank into an academy that's focused on public finance management. Now, that training program was completed via a hybrid format this week here in Nigeria with nearly 36 of the participants in attendance. Let's take excerpts from the closing presentation and a testimonial from one of those participants.
The curriculum is undoubtedly rounded and apt for the needs of our countries in upscaling the urgently needed knowledge and capability of public officials who work in the public financial and debt management functions of government. This graduation is of the serving participants, which we are witnessing today, December 14, 2023, is a testament to the commitment of the bank in responding to the need of the regional member countries to fast-track capacity development towards the achievement of the bank's High Five agenda, the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and the AU Agenda 2063. I understand that the PFMA provides a platform for the aggregation of knowledge from relevant institutions and making them available to our public financial management officials. I find this very innovative in capacity development and should be scaled to other areas of capacity development needs in our government beyond public financial management. I commend the institutions that partnered with AFDB in delivering this innovative program, especially the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Commonwealth Secretariat, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, African Tax Administration Forum, ATAF, Collaborative Africa Budget Reform Initiative, CABRI, Africa Organization of English-Speaking Supreme Audit Institutions, West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, WIFM, Macroeconomic and Financial Management Institute of Eastern and Southern Africa, MEFMI, OECD Global Forum, Open Government Partnership, Open Ownership, Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa, GIABA, and African Finance Corporation, among others. I understand that in addition to the graduation ceremony, there are other PFM capacity development events holding here over this weekend, including the dialogue session of Africa public debt managers from across the continent to deliberate on ways to enhance capacity development on debt management and formation of an African debt managers initiative network, as well as the dissemination of the benchmark macroeconomic models for effective policy management in Africa report.
The Academy will also work with policymakers on soft skills that enhances development and that develops changes in attitudes and mindsets. One of our eminent scholars just launched a book on development as attitude. This will be achieved through high-level policy dialogue with leaders and engagement with civil society, youths and women to understand and propagate principles of probity, accountability, and in public services and public finance management. We are doing this because we understand that technical knowledge alone will not create the changes we seek. These programs are complemented by the bank's institutional support and program-based operations designed to foster necessary governance reforms needed to curb leakages and corruption, illicit financial and resource flows, resource theft, and also strengthen supreme audit and other oversight functions in countries. Several instruments are already being developed, including beneficial ownership registers and a public service delivery index that are being developed with our partners to help us in the implementation, monitoring, and evaluation stages of this program.
It's been quite an extensive training, and then the takeaway for me has been the fact that we didn't limit ourselves to only the PFM cycle, but we looked at the entire landscape of PFM, where we had other aspects that influence efficient public financial management. When you look at public financial management, you are looking at the how governments of nations mobilize resources, allocate the resources, use the resources, and account for the resources. So every little aspect of the totality of the PFM cycle, from the macro fiscal forecasting, everything was taken into consideration. The advantage was the peer experiences that we're able to share from different countries. We share different experiences, and we had to practicalize what we had actually been taught. So it wasn't just like a classroom model, but there were exercises and assignments where we tried to domesticate whatever we had learned in our peculiar circumstances. For me, from Ghana, as a head of budget development, it's been quite helpful because it exposed me to the other landscape of the entire PFM. And as I go back home, I should be able to ensure that what I do in the area of budget development, we are able to allocate the resources efficiently, and then we'll follow up to ensure that we are getting value for money in whatever we are using our resources for.